Today on Crazy Carl Projects, we are doing a road trip when we're supposed to be working on the old Subaru.
Well, that's not quite my fault. I was supposed to be doing this road trip last week. And well, I'm going to go fetch something that was supposed to be ready a week ago that's finally ready.
So it's kind of interrupting things, but, well, whatever. So I figured today instead of that, we'll talk about the weirdest car sponsorships that we can recall. You got to try to top me.
All right, well, I'll start with the company that gave these sunglasses out for free or not a sponsor. So they don't count, at least not yet.
No.
The section's always screwy.
That didn't happen. Y'all saw nothing.
That was actually the right way to do that intersection. They just won't repaint the line.
Huh.
It's a weird why, yeah.
You remember the TV show Ghost Whisperer?
Yeah.
That used to be sponsored by Ford.
Well, something has to keep a Ford going.
Hello, everybody. Future Lou talking. I tried to find a clip of this show to show you. I even went as far as to buy 5 different episodes of this show across different seasons to just try to find the clip. I could not find it. I don't know if this is a DVD only thing and they cut it out for the YouTube version, but I do know it does exist. It's on the DVD version. If you bought the DVD version of it, please let me know. And please tell me, is it a Ford or a Chevy that she's driving? I know it's something domestic. Anyways, neither here nor there. Back to the video. Sorry to interrupt. You own a Ford.
I know. Maybe that's why it's still working.
For several seasons, in just about every episode, they'd have this weird spot in the middle of the episode where the family gets her a brand new, I think it's an Escape, and she's so happy with it, and then she's got to go to the next part of the show driving her new Ford Escape. And it's always the same clip, so it's weird. It's like, how many brand new Ford Escapes is he going to buy her? Well, why does he keep needing to buy new ones?
Because they keep escaping. Of course, it's in the name.
They're getting away. Mm-hmm. The Ford Escapes are running away.
Enter another one. Oh, what was the name? There's another ghost show that was sponsored by Chrysler for a while. So they were always driving around in Chrysler 300s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this one of those reality ones where it's they're going from place to place and trying like ghost hunters or something?
It was one of those, yeah. I don't remember which one. I just remember it was brought to you by Chrysler. Which would be kind of funny if they're doing exorcisms.
Yeah. We exercise the house, now we can exercise the car. Go get the jumper cables in the holy water. Star Wars being brought to you by Nissan.
Well, remember? They did make a lot of vehicles that looked like escape pods.
Yeah, they did.
Or landing craft.
They did. And I want to say that it was around the Last Jedi time frame of it, but a lot of those Nissans were being brought to you by frickin' Star Wars at the time.
Although they did have some neat packages with that.
They do.
So that was an interesting one.
I liked when they were doing the whole the stormtroopers picking at you from underneath and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Those were pretty funny.
Those were good. So I just want to say that was actually, not necessarily know why, but it worked out. It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. There we go. Let's try this again. We were on a good roll, and I realized we weren't recording.
We're going to have to yell at the cameraman. I'll let the producer do it.
That guy should be fired.
What were we? Let's see. What did we? You started.
We were like Marvel Cinematic Universe. Actually, has had several car sponsorships. You had Chevy, you had Audi, you had Acura.
Yeah, like I said, I remember now that
I
Chevy
think
won.
Nissan was one. I wouldn't be surprised.
And Chevy seemed like it was one of the Spider-Man movies.
Probably, yeah.
Which,
Homecoming would be my guess.
I don't know for sure, but it would kind of make sense because Spider-Man Red and Chevy Red are pretty close.
Yeah. But it's weird to me because it's like I've never looked at a Marvel movie or something and went, you know what? I got to buy a car now. I got to go get that Chevy Malibu because Spider-Man was in it. It was in the background in Spider-Man.
And it's one of those things. It's kind of weird sometimes what they pick to sponsor with, and used to make more sense. Some stuff makes good sense to sponsor because the vehicles become, characters.
Gone in 60 Seconds, for example, that Ford, that Mustang was a character in that. Bullet, that Mustang was a character in that, as well as the Dodges. I think that movie probably sold as many Dodges as it did Fords.
Oh, yeah. And you have some movies that ended up making vehicles characters that they weren't sponsors for.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of interesting. And then they pick to sponsor something that has nothing to do with their cars.
Well, it's like the Transporter, for example. That BMW was a character in that movie. BMW should have sponsored it, even though I don't think it did. Could be wrong. But these days, they're just kind of like, they're in the background, they're there, they're not, you know what I mean? But they're not really.
But then you have interesting ones on that. It used to be, there's a lot of shows where you knew who was sponsoring them because it's what everybody was driving.
Yeah.
Like when the FBI had a bunch of Buicks. Several shows in the 90s and early 2000s.
True. FBI's driving Buicks. Everybody's driving a Chevy. Gee, I wonder who sponsored this one.
Yeah. Except for the bad guy. The bad guy driving a Ford.
Yes. And it always breaks down on him. If only I was driving a better car.
Indiana Roads.
Whee!
Flat and straight, and there's nothing in front of you, but we have 90-degree turns because that's how the property line went.
Yeah. It's kind of, you get used to it.
Yeah, it's still, I call it an Indiana curve.
Yeah. You get used to it. Wasn't the NFL sponsored by a car company there for a while? I think
multiples. They've gone back and forth on that, who's sponsoring. Which
doesn't even make sense. I mean, it would be more exciting if the line of scrimmage was done by trucks, but I don't think that doesn't even make sense.
Well, it depends on which team you're backing to. Do you really want to be the sponsor for the Detroit Lions?
True. Yeah.
I like them, but you're probably not going to see them win.
Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are kind of in the same boat. I know, Dallas. This next year is your year.
Or the Oilers curse has now been spread to 2 teams, even though the Oilers don't exist.
What is the Oilers curse?
I'm actually not entirely sure what the curse is, other than the fact that they're not allowed to win. They're not allowed to go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, and I don't know what the background of that curse is.
I mean, the Browns are kind of, it's like, to me, I think the Browns are cursed with only being able to have good seasons and win good games when the economy is crap. When the economy picks up, so their winning percentage goes way down.
Isn't that just the Cleveland curse?
Yeah, probably.
Well, we talked about Magnum PI.
Yes.
The Corvette that pretended to be a Ferrari, and then Ferrari got involved.
That was Miami Vice.
Wrong one. Oh, you watched these shows. I didn't.
Magnum PI had the, I want to say the Ferrari 308. Is a 308 or the 3? I think it's a 308.
Oh no, but I watched Knight Rider, so it was Kid, which was.
Oh yeah.
Was just a Firebird with a bunch of lighting.
Yes.
Still cool though.
Absolutely. and I need to do a kit conversion on Rita.
Yes. Yes.
That we got to get her fixed up first so her engine's running properly, and then we'll do a kit conversion on Rita.
Don't go straight. It's not actually a road.
Indiana turns.
You also end up with a lot of times where straight is not straight. You want to stay on the road you're on, you have to turn.
Yeah.
And then turn again.
And then turn again. Straight ends up being somebody's driveway or a dirt road that leads you into the middle of a cornfield in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, Mac sponsored something that I found odd in the 90s, and I can't remember what it was. Mac Trucks. And I cannot remember what they were sponsoring that I thought was a strange sponsorship. I just remember they sponsored something, maybe a cartoon.
That sounds random enough.
It was something that was, why is Mac the sponsor for this? It was cool.
I'm going to look this up. After an extensive search of the internet, we have come up with nothing.
I'm starting to think it may have been a local sponsorship from a dealership. I just remember Mack Truck sponsoring like Saturday morning cartoon shows or something because it got me really liking Mack Trucks when I was little. So it'd been the early 90s.
Was it like Transformers?
No,
that would have been 80s.
That would have been 80s. It could have been late 80s, but I think it was El Paso, so it could have just been the dealership in El Paso was sponsoring stuff.
Yeah, it could have been. Well, Mack Truck is prominently in media anyways with Cars, Lightning McQueen's Buddy Mac, Maximum Overdrive, a couple other movies like that.
Oh, yeah. I think Maximum Overdrive kind of sealed it. And there was another one besides Maximum Overdrive that was a horror movie that had you had one in Mad Max.
Yeah.
And
the original Mad Max, also
the second Mad Max. But
yeah. Yeah. It was the original one though, I thought, because they had the truck there that was going to destroy the car, and they had to put the fake face of the truck on there, which looks funny in HD. Mad Max is a movie that looks better in the old standard definition, not high definition.
Yeah, but it may have been in both. They all kind of run together a little bit. The second one in the series is the one I watched the most, so I liked the tanker, the fake tanker.
Yeah.
I got another one on that, the farm truck. At the first job I had out of college when I was an agronomist intern, we had a tanker, an old tanker, and it was a Mack truck. So it was Mad Mac.
I love that.
It looked about like it was out of a Mad Max movie.
I love that. Lost Highway. There was a Mack truck in that one. I want to say that was a Mack truck.
Yeah, Mack truck's been in a lot of stuff.
It has, but you can see how these vehicles can become a character and they become a part of the show.
Now I'm trying to remember the tow truck in Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, good Lord! Now you're going way back.
I'm trying to think if it was a Mack or a Freightliner or I think it was a Peterbilt. I think it was a Peterbilt.
I'm going to say sure.
I haven't watched that movie since I was like 8. I'm trying to remember. It was on Betamax.
Adventures in Babysitting, the only part of that movie I really remember is when she had taken the switchblade from the guy on the subway, threw it into the top of his shoe, and said, "You don't F with the babysitter." That's the only bit I know. I remember that, really.
The thing I think I remember most is the tow truck driver. He was a good character.
I guess. I haven't seen that movie in years. Oh, man. It was an entertaining movie at the time.
Now, there's something, if any of you watching this would want us to do car movie or movies with car stuff in it as reviews, we've played with that a little bit. Go ahead around. You can hit that guy if you want.
Passing two people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
if y'all want us to do car reviews and stuff like that, movies with cars in it, just let us know.
and you're seeing lots of the Midwest. You got corns and you got beans. And then you have more corns and then more beans.
Yes. Welcome to the Midwest.
Yeah.
They've done some weird sponsorships of TV shows and movies before in the past. Oh man, I won't be surprised if they sponsored like Terminator movies and things like that. That sounds like a Nissan thing.
I'm trying to think.
Is that what I'm smelling?
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to think of sponsorships, and I can think of cards and stuff, but
yeah,
I think half the sponsorship stuff I can think of are local things.
Yeah. Those are always fun.
Seems like Freightliner did sponsor something at some point.
I won't be surprised. People don't record these things.
Yeah.
It's almost like nobody cares. Whoop,
Yeah.
sorry. It's almost like nobody cares who sponsors what.
Yeah, it was just ad space, so it's one of those that you had this ad space in there, and sometimes it does a real good job. The stuff that does a real good job is where it's memorable. And you also have times where things are memorable and they didn't sponsor it, like, oh heck, I'll say Tremors. If you've never seen it, it's a really great movie, Tremors movie. It's a monster movie, but it is kind of car-centric. It does have a good bit of car-centric in it. Some really neat ones, like the Jeep Gladiator pickup in there, that I always thought was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And scenes that were cut. You had a 1960 Buick that was cool for one of the characters that got cut out of the movie completely.
Yeah.
Well, almost cut out of the movie completely.
Well, since we're talking about random cool cars and random movies, here's a random cool car and a bad one. Masters of the Universe had that pink Cadillac.
Oh, yeah. Masters of the Universe. I liked that movie as a kid.
I did too, but
it's one of those movies as you get older, it's harder to watch.
Yes.
Without something else being involved.
Like alcohol.
Uh-huh. Although it is a great movie for a drinking game.
It is an entertaining movie. Don't expect goodness. It's like The Room. It's entertaining because it's bad.
It has its charms.
It does. Okay, I think we're about ready to wrap this one up.
Unless you can think of more.
No, not at the moment.
We may think of more.
Yeah, we may.
We may or may not be back.
Yes. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.
And please like, share, and subscribe.
And you may be hearing this again.
Yes. And if you like these things, let us know.
Yeah. Till next time.
There's another one.
Yeah. Original Jurassic Park, where you had the introduction of the new Ford Explorer with no expenses spared. They figured out how to make it really dependable. You couldn't drive it.
And there was,
to escape, you had to use a Jeep.
but Jeep actually had the official Jurassic Park Jeeps.
They did. And I think Explorer actually had a Jurassic Park package on their new Explorer, too.
I'm not sure, possibly.
I'm not 100% positive on that. I know I've seen a few over the years, and some of them were in the 90s, so I'm not sure if that was just people instantly did it, or if it was actually a package.
Yeah.
But those were interesting. It's just one of those sponsorships. You remember the vehicles, but the thing is, you remember the Jeeps more than you do the Ford Explorer, which was a big deal. So long.